Sorry, I was just trying to let him know because since he can't hear the countdown.
I can hear it.
You can? Okay, good.
Let me know when.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
You're live. You're ready.
Oh, we're live?
You're live. Yes.
All right, hey guys, welcome to the. Hey guys, welcome to the U.S. Open Masters here at the U.S. Go Congress for 2022. I am Eric Lui, and together with Eric Lui, 2P, we are bringing you coverage of the games from the top boards today. We are currently in Estes Park, Colorado. How are you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing well. I'm really just glad to be here. As I'm sure everyone is. It's been the first Congress that we've been able to go to in 3 years, and yeah, I'm also in a rare spot, to be able to do commentary on the Masters tournament. Yeah.
Nice.
However,
It's been a long time for me too. I've been away from the game for a while, and there's been a lot of changes because of AI, and I'm really excited to see how top level American Go has sort of changed over the years. So, why don't we just dive right into a game?
sure, let's do that.
Let's get into board one. We've got
Right.
we've got Han Han versus Go Yong Fei, right? And Han Han
That's
is a
correct.
Chinese professional.
Yes. So since we're on round three at the moment, some viewers probably have some familiarity with him. He's a he's a Chinese professional five dan who's currently living in the U.S. But
Mm.
he was active um, in the Chinese City League in years past.
And I've heard that he's also like the teacher of Kevin Young, right? Who's like a newly minted U.S. professional.
Right. Yeah. Uh, Kevin recently became pro at the beginning of July.
Hmm. It's really cool, and that we have the pro exam now for the North Americans.
Yeah,
So,
and yeah, so Kevin couldn't make it to Congress this time, but the
mm-hmm,
but the other pro that was certified at the tournament is Alex Chi,
mm-hmm.
and he's currently undefeated at the moment as well
Nice. He's on
in,
board too, right?
in this
That's
tournament.
also that's pretty exciting. Do you want to jump into this game?
Sure.
So Han Han with
So
the white
actually,
pieces.
right. So perhaps we should introduce Black as well.
Ge Yongfei. Uh, my understanding is that he's a strong amateur in Canada currently, right?
Yeah, he is something of a old timer, I'd say. He's been to many U.S. Go Congresses. I think his first one was in 2001. So yeah, he's always done uh, very well in the Masters tournaments.
Definitely a veteran of these kinds of events.
All right, so let's jump into the game here.
Hmm.
Fei is black.
Hmm.
So he approaches this corner, move 5. It's very standard opening so far. And I'm actually quite familiar with Fei's game,
Mm.
and this is definitely his favorite opening. I don't think I've seen him play anything else
Does
in all
he
I've seen him play.
does he usually play Kobayashi, where you
He
follow up on J4 and K4?
right. He used to play, Kobayashi. This was well before AI, like we're talking
Hmm.
15 years ago, something
Hmm.
like that. But nowadays, he's probably more likely to play some AI Shamari,
Right. That
something like
makes
that.
sense. Okay, so that's kind of his goal.
Right.
And white approaches in the bottom right to deny this.
Yeah. So this is by far the most common response to the
Mm.
approach, and this has been popularized by AI.
Mm.
Before nine times out of 10, everyone was just answering it with a simple knights move.
Right.
So
Oh.
here black responds with the two-space low pincer. It's a little bit rare. Um, you might expect to see other pincers like
Mhm.
two-space high. Of course, nowadays, AI tends to recommend just making a simple knights move answer
Right.
or a kotsumi.
Wow. That's also been recommended. That's unusual. I feel like, when I was really studying a lot of theory in the game, there was a lot of emphasis on being comfortable and familiar with like pincers and a lot of the more complex variations that can come out of them. And it's kind of weird to see that, like, oh yeah, in the modern era, we just play the simple moves.
Yeah, the traditional theory was, when your opponent approached, it was more active to pincer. But
Yeah.
nowadays, AI has taught us that it's a perfectly valid response to just play a Kusumi or a Knight's move.
Mm, okay. So we played
But
two
that's
space
yeah,
low pincer.
yeah. But that's not to say that the pincer is in any way inferior
Right.
to. It's simply a matter of personal preference.
Sure. So where does white go from here? This knight press is interesting to me. This usually results in a running battle, right? And I feel like that's are there a lot of like variations where we see running battles in openings these days after like AI has come out?
So if you want to see a running battle, you might see like a two-space
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
jump,
Right.
something like this.
Yeah. And
Right. So
then,
you don't, yeah.
but with
So you
the
don't see
knight
this
move
kind of move.
press, right? Yes. And the with the knight's move press, now there's like a push cut kind of fight that happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. Black has two ways to respond.
Hmm.
Black can either push and cut like he did in the game, or just push along once and then jump.
Hmm.
This is a basic Joseki variation.
Right.
But in this shape, black wants to be more active. Black's got a stone at f3,
Hmm.
and that will support any upcoming fight in this area. And yeah, this is a This is one of the variations that arise from the shape. So up to here, it's a standard variation.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, white will answer here, and then black goes into the corner. White plays this move,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's an interesting idea that black can pursue by playing
Oh,
this move. This prevents white from playing in the same spot.
right.
And in response, the idea here is that black aims to sacrifice these 4 stones.
Oh, wow.
So for example, if white blocks, then black can seal white in, for example,
Mm-hmm.
like this.
This is kind of a crazy idea. That's
Yes,
a really
it's
big corner.
well, it's not that big.
Hmm.
And I think black's influence is pretty impressive.
Okay. So what did white opt for in the game?
White played here,
Mm.
which is a very, very interesting move. It's not one of that I've seen before, but something tells me that it's a move that white has studied and prepared.
Mm-hmm. This definitely feels like preparation. I agree.
Yeah, normally top players, when they're preparing for a major tournament, they will have done a good deal of preparation,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like for any common Joseki variations. Um, yeah, they will have done that preparation in order to uh, preserve time.
Right. And also to have, some strong weapons, right, that other people might not be familiar with.
Right.
Mm. Immediate
So
push
black
cut.
just push and cuts immediately. That seems to be a reasonable move. Since if black plays anything else, for example, like this,
Yeah, that's
black
very
is getting
painful.
pressed,
Yeah,
and it's not very comfortable.
I agree.
I can make a nice shape.
Mm-hmm.
So right away we have a very intense fight.
Yeah.
Got stones contacting each other, and it's moments like these where it's important to invest time. And like
Mm-hmm.
normally when you think of the opening, we're just sketching out like territories, and you don't really see close contact that much. So in that way, players don't usually have to spend so much time and energy.
Mm-hmm. But these
So
are
here the black would
no, keep going.
so here black jumps over here instead
Mm-hmm.
of uh, playing this move. Well, let's start. So if
Oops. I think you can, yeah, just bring the game back up and then go back to the beginning, and then you can just, yeah. Yeah. Cool.
so if black just extends in this shape, then
Yeah.
we'll jump here. We can see this is a basic net. Black's 3 stones are captured.
Right.
So black jumps over here to prevent that.
Mm-hmm. I was also curious about that Hane, about the Q9 Hane. What happens if black plays at Q9?
White will answer the same way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, that makes
And
sense.
And even though this is not actually a net in the sense that these 3 stones will get captured, but if black
Right.
wants to save them,
Right.
uh,
R8
black's
stones.
going to be suffering a lot of damage
Got it.
on the side.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
So black jumps on the third line here,
Mm-hmm.
rather than playing here. And the reason behind that is, so there is something happening here, right? Like as white, locally, white can choose to cut.
Mm-hmm.
Which side would you choose to cut from?
I would probably cut at S10 because the stones at R5 are weak, and I don't want to make black strong enough to attack them.
Right. So this is a situation of whatever side white cuts on, black is
Mm.
going to capture from that side.
Right.
So yeah, locally, this variation comes to an end here, but then black will block here and capture 2 stones,
Mm-hmm.
become very thick.
Right.
And this is not this is not terrible for white, but white should be aiming for something more.
Mm.
Now there's another idea white can pursue. If white wants to push one more,
Mm-hmm.
this is if the same variation were to happen.
Ah.
Now we can see white has gotten the Q10 for R11 exchange, and
Right.
this will be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So white is trying to. So let's look at the other cut. If white cuts on the inside
Mm-hmm.
and kills this outside stone in the ladder,
Right.
then black will push here,
Yeah.
and white will be captured in the corner.
Right.
Black has an eye here, and white has no potential to make an eye, and black's corner is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be the worst result for white. So in the game, white saves these 2 keystones, and this continues the fight here since black is being separated as well.
Right. I'm starting to get nervous about the Q3 stones.
So black plays here. This is a move that threatens to capture white's 3 stones here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's white is expected to defend. So here we can see white in the corner is not yet alive.
Yeah. There's a move at T4, I think, that looks very appealing.
Right, locally, if white wants to live,
Mm.
this is the move. Now it makes an eye here and an eye here.
Mm-hmm.
So black is no longer black is not in danger of being captured on the bottom after this move.
Mm-hmm.
Like if black were to try and kill white at this point, uh, white would capture black first.
Mm-hmm.
This will be this will be a liberty race that black cannot win.
Right. It kind of feels that way because white has the stone at S2, so it sort of feels like white has more liberties there.
Right, so we might expect something like this,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a situation where white has 4 liberties, black has 4 liberties, but white plays first,
Right.
so black will be captured.
Got it. So N2 seems like a necessary move.
Yeah, and it's also perhaps the only move. If
Mm.
black were to jump, instead, this leaves a weakness.
Mm.
White can actually wedge here,
Right.
and if black were to try and capture the stone, then white is a nice move.
Mm.
Well, it doesn't quite work immediately because black can actually save these stones like
I
this.
see.
But it leaves a bad potential.
Right.
So, for example, if white were to get this move in
Mm. And make a ko.
and make a ko,
Mm.
yeah, this would be the a way for white to exploit that weakness. So before living in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
white should be aiming at black's weak stones in the center.
Mm-hmm.
Try to exploit them as much as possible, and wait until the right moment to live in the corner.
Right.
So white should be reasonably happy to make a panuki.
Yeah. I think I feel like white got a lot of what he wanted here.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting position.
Mm.
And it's not one that's easy to judge. Like my personal feeling is that black is playable
Mm-hmm.
because if we look at the corner, so in the future, whenever black wants, he can force white to make a 2i group.
Right.
So there's only 2 points in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and if you look at white shape on the outside with the N4 stones, even though white has made a panuki,
Mm-hmm.
can we really call this thickness?
Yeah, definitely not. I see where you're coming from here. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
What's there's
at
still a little.
the moment white is looking it's potential to become a weak group.
Mm-hmm.
So white is saving the 3 stones here.
Mm. Did do you think that was necessary? I felt like maybe White could possibly have started playing elsewhere.
So as white here, I wouldn't find it very easy to continue.
Mm.
So since the N4 group is not strong yet, if white really wants, he can add a move like this,
Right.
and this will, this is a solid move, but if black were to play a move like this, there's a sense that the white Q9 stones can be captured on a large scale.
Mm. I
And
see.
so by jumping here, white is trying to find a tempo for the fight. There's a saying, while white is not strong yet, black is also somewhat weak towards the
Right.
center as well.
Okay.
Basically, we have 2 white groups and 1 black group. So in theory, black should be a bit easier to handle.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
So this is an interesting move.
Yeah.
White is making a pretty solid shape here. White has pretty close to 2 eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 100%, but it's just about there. So instead of this move, you might expect white to just play here instead.
Yeah. That's kind of the move that I would expect. Yeah. Mm.
And then white would have, black has an easy answer of
Mm-hmm.
securing the territory on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a more threatening move. There's a defect here. However, white can
Mm.
handle it pretty easily at this moment with this cut.
That's really cool.
And let's say black answers like this.
Mm-hmm. Now there's a problem here. Yeah. Wow.
And these black stones are already captured.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Black connects along the second line.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other option is to press one more. It's definitely one that could be considered as well.
Okay.
You might expect white to bump over like this.
Mm. Doesn't that hurt the Aji in the corner?
So in this way, black's territory is more solid in the corner, but white is surrounding the outside more easily.
Mm. Okay.
So black wanted to avoid giving white these
Forcing moves.
forcing moves. Yeah.
Cool. Mm.
So this exchange pretty much guarantees white's safety.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the moves that I would want to play as white. This
Right.
attach and double haunting.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's trying to force white is trying to force his way to the top.
And black sort of broke the connection between those two stones, right? You kind of have to, I feel like, because you can't let white turn that into such influence, right?
Right. So if black were to simply answer like this, then
Yeah.
white would be very happy with this.
Yeah. Seems too good. I agree.
So black is resisting like this, and however, this gives white the opportunity to capture black's P17 stone, which is quite big in itself.
Right.
So it takes courage to play this way as black. And black playing here is aiming at white's weakness and trying to make the loss of P17 worthwhile.
Mm.
This is a very calm move from white.
P18 sort of feels like there's nothing wrong with. There doesn't seem to be anything pressing with this white group.
Right. So in order to attack, black would probably play from the outside, aim at this cut.
Mm-hmm.
But there's enough space on the outside that white isn't worried about being captured.
Mm-hmm.
So a move that's capturing, it's a very clean move.
Yeah.
Now on the one hand, it prevents black from playing like this and securing the corner. Not that black would be expected to play this at this time, but it also removes the forcing moves from the outside.
Right.
For example, if this move were to become vital,
Mm-hmm.
this would threaten 018.
Yep.
So in this case, we can see with the addition of M16, this cut becomes an option.
Oh, yeah, because the ladder doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. So in the game, black decides there's nothing too pressing at the time. Any continuing attack on the P12 group probably won't be too effective.
Mm-hmm.
So he jumps into the 3-3. So as black, I'll be thinking about double approaching here.
Mm.
And we might expect white white's going to be attaching on either side. Let's say he attaches from this side.
So your goal is to build something along the left side?
Yeah, this is the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this local shape, we usually see the Joseki move is like this.
Mm-hmm.
No, this would be the basic Joseki. However, white can play a move like this and then start attacking on the left.
I see.
Nowadays we do see a lot of different variations.
With the cross
Like,
cut.
right, like in response to this attachment,
Mm-hmm.
in the past there was always, well, most early on we saw the wedge connect
Mm-hmm.
with this shape.
Right.
But nowadays this is considered good for black.
Yeah.
White shape is clumsy.
Right.
So then later on, this Hane became almost the only move,
Yeah.
and then a connect. But what AI showed us is that there's another option. It's cut on the outside. And in response, black connects, and then white. So this Joseki is dependent on the ladder.
Right.
Yeah. So white needs the ladder to choose this variation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you think is the reason why Goyong Fei jumped into C17?
Well, he probably considered this briefly and thought that there wasn't anything much that he could gain from this double approach.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And
So now the left
white
side
just
becomes
plays
small.
right. White chooses to play the most simple variation.
Mm-hmm.
Now this extension is relatively new. Um, this knight's move is a bit more common,
Mm-hmm.
but it could transpose into the same variation.
Right.
This simple extension has its own set of variations as well. Black can choose to play the knight's move.
Mm-hmm.
There's a jump locally,
Mm-hmm.
but in the game, black just played this most simple way.
Right.
And in this local shape, white also has the option of Hane from the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot of cutting on the inside these days. Something like this, for example. And it's also very, very common for white to Tanuki.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I expected.
Right, but in this game, I think it's not easy to find a place to. It's not there's nothing terribly urgent at the moment.
Okay.
Like white's P12 group
Mm-hmm.
is kind of just sitting there, and white would like to somehow connect it to O16 stones,
Yeah.
but the presence of black's freestone from O15, prevents that from ever happening.
Right.
So for example, if like white's dream sequence would be to somehow make a big territory at the bottom. However, this weakness here will not allow that to happen.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and this simply extending here and finishing the local variation
Mm-hmm.
is a very big move. So if there's nothing urgent, then this is always a solid option.
And now we have somewhere for
And now again,
we have somewhere for the M12 stones to run to, right? In case that's necessary.
right. So at this point, black, the ball is in black's court again.
Mm-hmm.
So black takes Sente with this 3/3 invasion, and now I would expect black to play somewhere in the N15 area. My feeling is something like this feels good. Now this does act as a ladder breaker for
Mm-hmm.
the O12 cut.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say black or white were to answer like this, then black has the potential to play here
Wow.
and harass white a bit in the corner. Yeah, I would be quite surprised if black played somewhere else rather than in the vicinity of M16. So
Okay.
let's find out where he played. Okay, so this is a more defensive move. It's also pretty reasonable. So if black were to jump here, so in order to protect the cut, white might be forced to make this exchange.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, this is not one that white wants to make.
Right.
However, white can jump towards the center. And there's also the potential of black's MA group being attacked.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, in this way, the C14 stones will play a role.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so white makes the most solid defense.
Right, and now this also affects the cut, right? It no longer exists, so the forcing moves in the M15 area don't come with a force on the cut, right?
Right.
Wow.
So white is aiming at black's group.
Mm-hmm.
No, locally black is not alive. There's a potential for it to become a weak group. At the moment, we can't call it a weak group yet. That's and now we're caught up to the current state of the game.
Okay. I had a quick question on the status of the black group. Does O10 help black live at all?
O10, yes. So this will make an I here. White can't connect, obviously, because white stones will be captured.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, black can make an I here anytime.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Do you want to look in on the next game then?
Okay, sure.
We have
So here
we have Harrison Sun versus Alex Chi, the our new pro from early July this year, right?
yes.
Okay.
So Harrison's son is a new name for me.
Same.
I'm curious to see his game. So this becomes a very standard opening move nowadays. This Kosumi, and then we see a lot of very tight two space extension.
Really?
Before AI, this was by far the most common.
Yeah.
Here.
I was actually pretty
There's
surprised to see the 2 space. Yeah.
yeah, there's a sense that like this move is tight.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it doesn't leave any potential weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so white just jumps into the 3-3. Yeah, I mean, instead of the two space extension, we also see a lot of
Tenuki.
other opening moves.
Mm-hmm.
No, right. Now black can treat this C15 for E16 in exchange as a forcing move,
Mm.
and then play another big opening move.
Mm-hmm.
Any shamari from the 3-4 point is extremely big, and it's it's a matter of personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
No, like a black move here, and then a possible white continuation here. It's more or less the same value.
Okay, got it.
We also see this particular shape in the upper left quite a bit. Anyways, let's jump into the game a bit
Mm-hmm.
further. So as we see so often nowadays, white just jumps into the 3-4 into the 3-3 point. So very calm moves from both sides.
Mm. G4 K4
This shorter
exchange.
hit is extremely popular.
Mm. Oops.
Right.
I think go forward and then yeah.
Right. So in response to shorter hit,
Mm-hmm.
normally white will respond, and whatever way white pushes, black is likely to answer it like this. Or if white plays here, black will jump along and make a nice. It's a nice feeling
Mm-hmm.
for black to get this exchange in. There's a more there's a less commonly seen response for white is to slide on the second line.
Interesting.
This move, yeah, I mean, at least it prevents black from having an obvious follow up.
Sure. It's kind of unusual to see second line moves like that so early on, right?
Right, but it's also possible.
Okay.
Quite playable.
Mm.
But in the game, white chose to be more active.
Mm-hmm.
We can call this a pincer, and what white is hoping black to respond with is to push down like this.
Mm-hmm. Now K4 is in the perfect spot.
Black makes 3 sensor, right? And black's 3 stones are a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Let's say white plays like this. Yeah, white stones are spread out on the bottom in a way that it makes it feel like black is not accomplishing much.
Right.
And white is safe on both sides. So black approaches on the other side. He's trying to be more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Another way black can consider is to play from this side.
Mm-hmm.
This is saying, well, I see what you're trying to do with K4. I don't want to become heavy, so I'm going to play here, and maybe I can force you to come back here, and the game can continue from there. Maybe we'll see Black turn his attention over to the right side.
Right.
Of course,
R10 seems very
of course,
appealing
as
for
white,
making framework.
Right. So in response to M3, white may not cooperate with Black's plan. It might play here himself.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's an idea of tit for tat in the opening. Okay, so in response to the approach, white plays this splitting move.
Right. Like you just said.
Yeah, this is quite unexpected for me. Because with the addition of C6, it's pretty urgent to respond. Let's say, for example, like this.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
if Black gets G3 now, it feels completely different than before.
Right. Maybe not G3, but this move might be more severe.
I see.
Let's say something like this. Now, there's a feeling that white gets constricted into the corner. And now Black's moves are starting to come together. You can see this kind of influence building. So in this local shape, we also see this attachment. This is white's ideal shape, making a nice big corner. And this way, we're also separating G4. Yeah, so in the game, I think this is a little bit unexpected.
So how did Black follow up locally?
So Black played R8 first.
Now G3.
No, this is the correct direction. If Black forces on the other side.
Right. Yes.
Since Q5 is in a high position, this R7 move is very big, and it's hard for Black to. If Black has to add another move, white is quite happy with this exchange.
Yeah. So it has to come from the bottom.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So Black continues locally here. And now let's white will play D6, I expect. But no, this is really calm and really solid.
But now, if Black plays E6,
that does seem to be Alex's style.
Okay. If Black plays E6 now, then the corner is kind of sealed, right? And this kind of feels nice for Black's outside influence.
Right. Yeah, this is the first move that Black will think of. And the next one is to attack K4 and move like here or maybe on the fourth line.
Okay.
And yeah, so in the game, we can expect black to play one of those moves.
Wow.
But uh, black capture the top. Um, so this is a move that it kind of reminds me of my younger days. Like I would try and play a very let's call it an airy move for lack of a better word. It's even though there's a lot of space on the bottom, you want to come from the top.
Mm.
But the drawback of this kind of move, it gives your opponent a lot of space at the bottom to work with. And once you play a move like this, you can hardly expect to be able to capture this K4 stone.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's say white plays here, and then as black, you would be obliged to follow up with this, and whatever white does at the bottom, after white settles, there's this fear as black that your moves in the sky, aren't making real points.
Right.
That's something that strong players are very cognizant of. Especially pros. Pros are very keen on territory.
Hmm.
When you have territory, it's easier to control the situation.
Right. And white seems to have like quite a bit of it.
White is playing quite solid and territorial.
Hmm. Wow. Okay.
Right, so white plays the most active move.
Mm.
But before we continue with this game, let's take a quick break,
Sure.
and we'll see you shortly.
All right, and welcome back to our coverage of the. If you want to switch over to that.
It does.
Okay. Do you want to use this game?
Yeah, sure. So this is one of the U.S. Open games between 2 dawn and 1 dawn.
Ooh, 5-4. Interesting.
Yeah, that's something you don't see in top player games a lot. So it's nice to see something different. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
This is
Is it?
this is the same Joseki shape that we saw in board 1.
Yeah.
This is definitely a prepared move. It's a normally we see this one a lot, but
Right.
yeah, this is another option. Okay, so that's looks like a fairly even exchange. I think black is better here. Okay.
This is facing our back.
Right. It's just like at the beginning, black approach and white pincer, and black got a very nice territory and position at the top.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So this attachment is also it's a very modern move. Yeah. So our goal here with this game is just to pick out like the most significant moments. That's a misclick. Okay, that's another one. Well, that's an interesting result. First feeling, white's got some good potential in the center. Right. So we got a interesting move. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is a quite a bad result for black. When I get on the first line. Yeah. If white was behind before, white has certainly caught up with this variation. Yeah. So white's just surrounding the center on huge scale. Wow. Okay. Yeah. White is really being aggressive here.
Yes.
I would be more than happy with just playing two.
Yeah. Attacking this group seems like not exactly the right direction, or trying to cut off this group doesn't seem quite right.
Okay, so white gained a heck of a lot at the top.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was probably necessary for black to connect here and then fight in the center.
Right.
This J15 stone is pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, black is falling further and further behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now
Black is dead at the top, right? Wow.
Yeah, this is a desperate move.
N17 is very desperate.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. White's not even interested in playing here. Although this is a huge move.
Yeah.
It's got to be what, 20 points, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
But this is pretty big as well. So yeah, I would be surprised to see this game as anything other than a victory for White.
That's my feeling, but I feel like you never know with these open games. It's hard to write people off. That when you're at the 1 dan 2 dan level, I feel like big swings still happen.
That's true, but if I were to win this game, it will be quite a big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so apparently black is no longer looking after his weaknesses.
Okay,
And White eventually has come
got
back.
this. Still connected. Wait. Did White play Q13?
Yeah, so White gained absolutely nothing with the sequence.
Yeah.
White needed to block here and
Yes.
take this territory.
Yes.
But White is so far ahead that this doesn't really matter.
Right, I agree. It's still incredibly good for White this game. I think this is still just kind of lights out.
And I'm not sure if the game's still going or if black resigned.
Oh, it says White wins by resignation. Right?
Yep.
So I guess like the biggest issues were how they handled the move at K13.
Right.
And also the top right Joseki, right?
Yeah. So whatever black's initial advantage was after J17, it all went away from the upper right.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, White is leading, and then White played very aggressively here, and then black just collapsed from this point.
C18 is like a knockout punch. That's just lights out.
Right, and black had no more chances later on.
All right. Do you want to take a look at board 3?
Sure. So we are on board 3 now, which is Michael Chen and Albert Yan, two very popular and well-known North American Go players. I myself am very familiar with Michael. We kind of grew up together. It's been 15 plus years of competition, sometimes friendly, sometimes not so much. But
it's been a very storied rivalry, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he's always been a very interesting player, and a very, very tough opponent. Okay, so we have. Okay, this is an unusual move from black.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like when I'm watching Michael, I sort of have to expect the unexpected.
So the thing about, my understanding of him is he doesn't like to play like tricky the local Joseki variations.
Mhm.
He prefers to keep things simple and then try and lead the game into the middle game as quickly as possible and just start fighting. Like I would expect him to play a standard Joseki move. For example,
Right.
we can see something like this.
Yes.
This is actually quite popular.
Oh, okay.
This has only become popular in like the past couple of years.
Got it.
So this move is it's just seeking some complications in the opening.
Mhm.
Okay, this move, it's a little bit strange. I would want to.
I'm having a little difficulty, like where to play for black in this position.
As black, I would want to Tanuki.
Hmm.
Say we make a Shimari somewhere around here. But I think what black is worried about is once white adds a move here, black stones are kind of floating,
Mhm.
and there's a push and cut. So maybe black would have to add a move like this. But I think that's playable, and I probably prefer than adding a move here. This is a pretty awkward place to play. Black is
Yeah.
not Black is making very few points, and it's just not an interesting move.
Mhm. There's still Aji there.
Yeah, and this exchange is just very very pleasant for white.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be playable for black. So let's say black plays here and then can aim at this point.
Right.
There's a nice move aiming at the E17 weakness.
Yes.
So white would have to add a move here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so black returns to favor the one space low pincer.
Mm-hmm. They play this variation that you talked about.
It's very, very interesting. I think we're going to expect a H17 now. Ooh, this one, is it Sente? I think it should be Sente. Because if white plays somewhere else, then
you connect under.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the follow-up of this Joseki shape, and usually you don't play it right away. Okay, so comes back to here, and white defends.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't want to kick the stone to make black stronger in the area, right?
Right. It's a matter of what you're aiming for. Like if there's a very urgent follow-up, then you might want to kick and then take Sente.
Got it.
But in this case, it seems like white wants to just spin a move here and then let black take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So yeah, this is actually a common follow-up for this shape. Although even if it weren't, you might expect Michael to come up with this move anyway.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's double Hane down. It's aiming to make white as concentrated as possible, getting some benefits on the outside.
Right, because the R3 stone there makes it really awkward to do anything but connect solidly.
Yeah, and you notice how after getting these exchanges in, black is in no hurry to connect here.
Yeah.
Just connecting here, while it's a big move, black has no follow-up on white's group.
Mm-hmm.
So in this way, it's better to treat Q10 and R9 as forcing moves,
Got it.
and then treat them lightly.
Mm-hmm.
So black can give those stones up at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we see a 3/3 invasion.
And another. Hmm. Now this is kind of nice to have those two stones there.
Right. So in this variation, black takes Sente,
Mm-hmm.
this double Hane. Like normally, locally you would see an extension here.
Right.
Then after it's double Hane, there's weakness remaining around O3, P3.
Mm-hmm.
So black would rather not have that weakness,
Mm.
and it makes sense in this situation. You know, black leaves the position as is, and leaves the decision later on whether to make this exchange from the outside or
The Hane R2.
Hane here.
Yeah.
This is a big territorial move, and it's a standard follow-up.
Cool.
In this game, I would expect R2 later on rather than R7.
Mm-hmm.
And cutting here, it starts a fight. Black is thick enough on the surroundings in order to make this a profitable fight.
Kind of making use of like the B11 awkward like exchange before, right? Now that that group's very solid, it's kind of nice for the ensuing fight.
Yeah. So far we're seeing some very standard moves in the shape.
Mm-hmm.
Although with this one, black wants to play here. My understanding of the shape is not super detailed. I've always this has puzzled me for a bit. Like, what if this happens? Is this? No, I believe the proper move for white is to play this one.
Right. I see.
Yeah, this one would be what I would expect as, and probably what I would try to play as black.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like in this sort of shape, like it's almost it's intuitive to play here, right?
Yeah,
it just feels like the C4 stones are in some kind of danger.
Mm-hmm. But he just jumps. Maybe for a better balance for attacking the H3 stones also.
Right. So if black were to attack from the top, for example here, then white will extend along the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And white can settle relatively easily. So black chooses the practical move, taking away white's space for an extension and also creating some potential for territory along the bottom. Just aiming at white's weakness, but isn't L4 quite natural for white?
Yeah. Now black is being pressed low, right?
Exactly. So as black here, I'll be thinking about playing here as my first instinct. And as white, I would probably expect this to make the proper shape. But then isn't this jump quite natural for black?
Hmm.
And now,
In the game, it feels like white kind of got everything he wanted.
right. Yeah, in this variation, black can look forward to attacking white on the left. So this move is a bit questionable. Okay, so white plays here, which is very big in terms of points. It's also an interesting timing.
Yeah, there seems to be like urgencies on the left and with this L4 group. So taking R2 immediately feels maybe a little bit early.
Yeah, probably white didn't see any suitable follow-up towards the center. And I guess he also wasn't satisfied with just extending here. Although I think at this moment we can expect black to respond.
Yeah.
Then let's say white just jumps. This will be a bit more natural. There is a slight weakness at this J4 peep. It's not working immediately.
Right, because black is also not strong.
Right, but once black becomes strong on the outside, then J4 becomes a major point to play.
Got it.
Yeah, so this cat is quite comfortable attacking white on a large scale. It might be tempting from a shape perspective, to go here.
That's where I was thinking too.
But the thing is, can't expect white to answer and want to save these two stones. The L4 and 4 stones. Instead, white is going to jump out.
Those are literally forcing moves, right? So it's understandable to treat them as such.
Right. So in response, white plays here, creating some potential I around G4, also J5. Now we're in the it's the fun part of the game. You can see how black manages this attack. Like if black, so there's a weakness here around G6. So black might want to think about fixing, playing here. This takes away the potential I around G5. Also makes black thick around this area. But this doesn't feel like a move that Michael would play.
I agree.
Okay, so he goes here and takes this I away. This is very interesting. It's saying he's saying that G6 is not a threat for white. Like if white plays here, we can expect black to connect. There's a cut. And at this point, black cannot save this one black stone. Right?
Right.
You can see black's 4 keystones are being captured.
Yeah. This would be a disaster.
So black is going to protect on that side. And then with these exchanges, white on the left is becoming really weak, really thin. So it's pretty dangerous for white. So that's why white doesn't activate that Haji directly. Okay, so just trying to escape. And this is black's way of fixing the J6 weakness. He's trying to be more efficient, attacking on the left, seeing how white responds, and then his goal should be to play at N9 now. Like that's the move he wants to play to continue attacking. So at this point.
Got it.
But we can see that the exchanges he made on the left didn't actually protect his cutting point.
Yeah.
This is still very much in play.
Yes.
So he's going for this move. White is not alive on the left, so black is continuing to apply as much pressure as he can. Wow, that's really painful for white. Yeah, now black's got a double attack going.
Yeah, the white group is turned into a target. Why did white decide to let this happen?
Well, white would have to resist at some point, but it's hard to say at which point white could have done so.
Okay.
If we can go back further, we probably have to. Yeah, I mean this kind of thing. If white had played here first,
right,
make an eye around the L4 area. But all this happened because of R2. White was perhaps a bit greedy, taking the big territorial move, but leaving this group under attack.
Yeah. And now we're kind of in the phase of the game that Michael really enjoys playing, I feel like. This is his wheelhouse.
Like instead of coming out here, white could block. But this is very painful. White is still not alive. This looks like one eye. I can make an eye in Sente here. But if white ends in Gote, let's say white connects.
Sure.
Yeah, this will be a dangerous situation.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Is he going to cut or just defend at H8?
You can cut this, right? Because G6 doesn't work right now, I think.
Cutting directly may not work, but white can play. Yeah, black Black would be in trouble here.
Hmm.
This is the game.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So if white plays here, black is going to Atari. And then, oh, right.
Okay. Yeah. And suddenly, black is ahead in the Liberty race.
Right.
Wow.
So instead of knight's move,
Mm.
why not just play here?
He must have thought that the G5, the G6 Aji was going to protect him.
Right. I mean, black is not going to, you know,
Right.
so in response, black would have to play this move.
Hmm.
Yeah, and this is still a difficult situation.
Hmm.
You know, if white has to move here, then white is kind of being almost sealed in. And locally, it's hard to make two eyes.
Mm.
Although there is some potential with this ko. You know, let's assume, you know, white made a ko threat and black connects. Then we can almost see two eyes here.
Right.
Or even without this ko. This is an alive group. Yeah, I mean black can't break in here.
Oh, I see. Mm.
Okay, so during the game he plays. Okay, that is an exchange.
That's a very big dead white group.
Yeah, first instinct is wow, yeah, first instinct is white just lost.
Yeah, that's my feeling too. I don't see any compensation that's worth the size of that group, right?
Yeah, I mean a quick scan of the board, you know, I see black's got 80 plus points, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not even counting like the potential around K17, and it's black's turn.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at white's territory, I can see, give me a minute here, let's say about 50, and then plus Comey. So the margin is pretty big at this point.
Right.
So now when you have such a big lead, it's tempting to, you know, try and play safe, you know, to protect your lead.
It also doesn't really feel like black has a lot of potential weaknesses or places of big trouble.
Right.
So how did we continue here? How did Michael continue this game?
If I had to guess, I'd say H18 or K17. Well, yeah, those moves aren't even urgent at this point. Well,
Mhm.
okay, so L17, K17, similar idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, this forcing mirror is very pleasant for black. Yeah, black doesn't have any weaknesses for white to aim at.
Right.
And let's take a quick break.
Sure. Um, All right, guys, and we're back with more coverage here of US Go Congress 2022. We're looking at the US Open Masters, and actually, we're going to take a quick look at this open game here between Robert Chi and I'm having a bit of a hard time reading the name of the black player here. It looks like they're Ettore Santos. So, do you want to take us through this game pretty quickly and give us your impressions?
Yeah, sure. Let's look at this game.
Normal
Very,
opening.
very, very common opening. See a 3-3 invasion. Very, very standard.
Mhm.
Yeah, up to here, it's looking quite high level
Mhm.
on both sides. So this is the first sort of questionable move from either side.
Mhm.
It's better for black to make this knight's move to develop towards the center. With
Yeah.
this move, white is going to extend, and this move it helps white, even though you're adding a stone towards the center, but it's also making white solid. But in the game, white made a very ill-advised Tanuki. So at this point, black should Atari here right away.
It's massive.
Yeah, this will be a significant blow to white's chances during the game. Yeah. It's a major loss.
Right. So both players ignored that for a while. This looks like a pretty established sequence too. And black comes back and plays the very, very big N18.
Right, so white lives in the corner, but it's fairly small, and black makes this move, and white is behind at this point.
Mhm.
Okay, so white tries to reduce black. Yeah, black's playing a lot of nice looking moves.
Yeah.
G17 and this D11 shoulder hit. It's got a nice flow.
It doesn't strike me as the move of like a 4Q, you know.
Right.
In fact, ignoring H3 and then playing C11 is definitely not something that I would expect from a Q player.
Yeah, and in this case though, it doesn't look very good. Black probably should have responded here, right?
Mm.
No, if white plays H3, black might just answer it.
Right.
Yeah, this Atari J2 is quite painful for black.
I agree. The F4 stones are dying on a very large scale.
Well, not yet. Black is able to escape.
Right.
So let's say black plays here, then this is a shape where black can escape.
Mm-hmm.
There is a potential ko remaining, but black's not too worried about that. Okay, that's territorial move. And then a fight here. Both sides are making some mistakes. Yeah, the shape was a bit strange from starting from this point.
Mm-hmm.
This this move, white wouldn't have a connection problem like he does in the game.
Right. Yeah, elephant jump was very unusual there. Okay.
So black is actually actively trying to kill white at this point.
But I don't think that's doable.
It wasn't doable maybe 15 moves ago, but now it's looking more and more likely. So there's a potential ko.
I see.
But if black had simply played here, white just might be dead.
Yeah. Wow.
So we can just run out this ladder for a bit and see that it doesn't quite help white with its cutting points.
Yeah, there's just no room. Yeah, that is a missed vital point.
Yeah, with this go now, white has a chance. But black is still very much in control.
I agree.
This kind of co-thread is damaging. It's,
Yes.
I imagine it was very hard to play it. Yeah, so at this point we can say black is firmly in the lead. So at this point, black plays for some top.
That's
just,
yeah.
Nice sequence to kill white's 4 stones.
Incente.
Yeah. And black plays here, and then white turns to this move. And
can you kill those stones?
It looks like it. So if black just plays like this, then black is going to be captured.
Right.
So locally, black cannot live. You might see some potential semi-eye. Yeah, this would be interesting. Although white might be okay.
Oh, yeah. This is a lot of liberties.
Yeah. But this is white's best try. Like if white were to try and kill like this, it would not work.
Right.
You see, white's got too many fighting points to worry about. But in the game, black doesn't even play that.
Yeah.
Let's gives it up. This is big end game. But there is something that both players are missing in the upper left corner.
Oh, yeah. Do they ever play the B19?
That is the question. So both are playing normal endgame.
Yeah. Very common in Q level games to just have mutual blindness.
Right. And in this game, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a factor in the result.
Right.
Black seems to be ahead. Even even if there's nothing in the upper left. Black's simply got more points.
Mm-hmm. They played a ko here for this group. Wow.
Yeah, and this throw in, Black was even nice enough not to play C19.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure why, but
Okay.
so Black could have taken this side.
Yes.
Yeah, now White has to make the corner live.
Right. And then you just kill the bottom right. Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I think this game is absolutely over at this point, right? There's nothing really to talk about from here.
Right. Yeah, and eventually Black uses this move as the co-threat, rather than playing
E9. Yeah.
Yeah, this would have killed White's corner.
Right.
Okay, so overall, a pretty interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
A high-level opening that quickly went off the rails around with ignoring the N16 press from Black.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to move back to board one?
Sure. So on board one, if your game is finished, White Han has won or resigned. So we left off around this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very pleasant for White to get this exchange in for incentive, and then come back and play here. As Black, I would very much want to turn.
Right, but the R14 push. Yeah.
Well, Black is not going to die. Let's say play here. Yeah, Black's got resources to make this group live.
And a lot of space.
Right. So at this point, even without really counting, like I think we can say that White has gained somewhat of a lead. Black doesn't have any big territory. Most of Black's got third line territory on the right side, something like 13 points, right?
Yeah.
On the bottom side, we can count maybe 10 to 12. And then we have an upper left corner, let's say it's about 10. And then in the center, we have Black's got a little bit of potential. I'd say that's about 5 points. So Black's got something around 40 points, maybe a little bit less. And if we count White's got 2 points in the lower right. And then this group in the N14 area, we have about 5 points, 7 corner, something around 8 points, 15. And then White's major territory is on the top. If we assume something like this, that's safely close to 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's white has and white's got a start point at d4, and there's white's got a pretty good position. White's got solid territory. It's not too much less than black. White's got more potential on the left side.
Right.
It seems like black's going to have to work really hard to find some chances to catch up. So black tries to grab some territory,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the right side to block, blocking on the wider side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So black's picked up the corner territory, 10 points plus, but white's also got this turn. This b12 move is really big.
Mm-hmm.
If black plays a move on side, this is the standard follow-up here, and black's going to have to make a move to live. So getting this exchange in Sente would be very, very big for black, for white. So we might expect black to make this exchange himself. This will this might induce white to play a move here to protect against the clamp.
Mm-hmm.
And there's potential for some things to happen here. Yeah, and black's got things he can do.
Right.
Putting some stones down here.
Yeah.
Black gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Territory.
Yeah. So b12 is pretty big, and then how do we continue from here? Oh, f10.
Yeah. So protecting at f17 is the proper move locally, but it's not that urgent.
Right.
White is still sort of aiming at black's group in the center, and at the same time, this move discourages black from invading on the left side.
Right. It feels like a very big picture move.
Yeah. So black. So let's say black plays around here.
Mm-hmm.
Like white has a possible follow-up to surround this area. Although white's not going to do that immediately. White might cap this, and black might have to struggle a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But black has no choice but to play the strongest moves possible at this point.
Right. He's kind of got his back to the wall.
Okay, so this clamp makes sense. Just seeing how white responds.
Mm.
So playing here, we can expect white to protect. Around this area, although this does leave a weakness.
You got to keep e17 in mind while you're choosing which way you block, right?
Right. So white could think about just playing here, but that's a little bit slow. Let's see what white does. Okay, so that's a happy compromise. Yeah, so black's a bit wary of white's thickness. Makes a very shallow invasion. We can't really play invasion, more like a reduction. So this Hane and Tiger's Mouth, it's a normal call from the shape. You would expect black to play here.
Yeah.
And then presumably white's plan is to
Shoulder.
play here.
Yeah.
Now we can see that at this time we're going to take a 1 minute break.
Okay. And we're back with more live coverage from the 2022 US Go Congress. And we're joined here by Keith Arnold, who was the game recorder of the game that we're currently reviewing. And Keith, you mentioned that the players did their own analysis, and so you were able to listen in and get some insight into what they thought about the game.
Well, as you know, my Chinese is impeccable. So, in actual fact, I just think I picked up some things from the gestures. But following up on what I've been watching from standing over from the right from Eric, Han Han seemed to be complimenting. Han Han seemed to be complimenting the way Yongfei handled this initial Joseki on the lower right, which certainly has already cost me a rated game this week. But very much, as Eric has pointed out, they were saying that the turn in the upper left by white, and I think
You're referring to B12, right?
Atari on the lower left were the main doomsdays for Black's game. So Eric's been spot on.
Right. So you're talking about the White's B12 and the lack of Black A3, right?
Absolutely.
Got it.
And but I can safely say that I recorded board one yesterday, and Han Han worked a lot harder today. He went into Biyoyomi. Yongfei had 30 minutes left. He was definitely working for the weekend, so to speak, and of course he got the result.
Yeah, so Yongfei is actually naturally a fast player. And actually the game that Han Han played yesterday, he was in trouble for a good part of the game. Well, in trouble it might be a strong word, but his opponent had a good lead for a good part of the game.
Shows what I know.
So to prevent white from playing B12, black could have played this move first. Yeah, could have played B12 himself. And if we look at the continuation of the game, it might have been a profitable exchange to make.
The left side gets significantly smaller, right? So
Right,
after
so- yeah.
white blocks at c4, there's less potential.
Right. So this is kind of it's a normal follow up to the local variation. Now sometimes it's a matter of timing. Like this sort of exchange, if you make it too early in the game, there's a chance that you might not get much benefit from it. Like whites, because if you look at it from perspective, you're making a second line move, you're making a third line move.
Mm-hmm.
So, but once if you get like a position where white's thickness can't be utilized that effectively, perhaps in this sort of position, where black's got inroads in the center, black can consider making that exchange. So going back to the game position. So the goal here, if black were to play this normal local follow-up, with the addition of the b5 stone, white can surround the territory on the left.
Right.
Now we can see that without this exchange, this would not be possible.
Yeah.
Black would be in a position to capture white's 3 stones.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, black must have read out this variation and calculated that he's behind. So he wants to create some more complications. And yeah, that is the normal follow-up for white. This move is quite big in terms of points,
Yeah.
I shape. Okay, at this point, there's not many big points left. A lot of solid positions, especially from white. Black's going to have to come up with something special. So white is not even just protecting his territory here. Instead, he's still continuing to pressure black.
Mm-hmm. That just seems like really good endgame technique, right? Just never letting up here.
Right.
It's easy I feel like it's easy when you feel like you're in the lead to sort of just play K18 because it's good enough, but white is being very disciplined, making sure to hit all the urgent moves that he needs to.
Right. He's getting in some profitable exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
C2 looks big.
Yeah. Very good.
Black is still looking after his own eye shape.
Yeah, he's worried that he can be reduced to one eye, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was at this point that Young Fei started shaking his head and mumbling. I don't know if it was as bad as you say before then, but Young Fei definitely knew it was bad now.
Yeah, so there's a weakness in black shape that black has to think about. Playing here. Yeah, okay, sorry, that's a better move. Well, if black plays here, this threatens white can get this Atari and white will have to protect this cutting point. This should be slightly better. And then yeah, the end game will continue from here. So but there's not many big moves left in the end game.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna click through to the end, see if anything.
Yeah, I don't think anything too interesting happened. That throw in was modestly interesting.
Yeah, so I don't have an accurate count, but if I had to guess, I'd say at this point White's probably leading on the board a couple.
That I was counting carefully. Of course, I'm not as strong as you, but that's precisely what I got. Just a slight lead on the board, and you got 3 prisoners and Comey in the bank. It's amazing, these strong players, how they can fight such a tense game, and then there was immediate laughter in the game review between the 2 players, and they, I think they really appreciated, shall we say, the lesson, getting a chance to play a pro in a serious game, and I thought he counted himself really well.
Yeah, overall in this game, I'm reading the post chat. It seems that I was kind of in sync with what the players were thinking. Like this beginning variation, Black had some interesting position ideas. It seemed like White had to press a bit.
White was definitely using so much more time, and not just, he was definitely working. I was pretty impressed, having, again, as I asked you before these event even, how does this just like work? Because I can't do it. And sure enough, I couldn't do it in a game. I like this group kept getting out ahead of the 2 weakish White groups. Then I liked how the pro just simply said, okay, I'm settling this one, so I don't have to worry about it, right? The lower one. And then he only had to deal with the one at the top.
Right. So overall, it seemed like Black was playing well, but there wasn't any real decisive opportunity to actually like surge into the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And White made some strong moves here in the upper right hand corner. And
I'm proud to say that I did see S17, although I would have played it woefully early, I think.
I was really impressed by P18 and the timing of it.
Yeah, it was a very calm move, and Black was never quite able to make the potential attack stand up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the decisive moment was at this point when White got to block here.
Mm.
And that's related to the other Erics complimenting P18, because it gave him such strength and stability up there that he could make his territory on the other side of the top.
Yeah, getting to secure such a large, relatively large area with no problems was such a nice thing for White here. I think in general, I feel like White handled weaknesses so much better in this game than Black did.
Yeah, it seemed like Black was a little bit passive.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was trying to make it a close game, and then try and get a chance to somehow materialize, but it just never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so this game, white wins. So white is now 3-0, and there should be only a couple of 3-0 players this point.
Just to catch us up, why don't we take a quick look at board 2 and see the result and see if there are any important moments there?
Okay, so going back to board 2, we last left off at this point.
You mentioned that Black was playing some very airy moves and prioritizing central influence here. White seems to get a very nice settled group along the bottom.
Yeah,
I was curious as to how it turned out.
Yeah, but now that I look at it, Black seems to be doing okay as well with this position.
Right. The corner is big.
Okay, so this is another very solid territorial move. Locally, this is much more common.
Another move I played a game and lost.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting feel from White, allowing Black to come down here and making a very calm extension. Yeah, this is a big move for Black. Do some Aji in the corner.
Right. From
and
the age
White from this event. You can see locally it's probably not going to work out that well. But any forcing move around this area will help make this Aji activate.
Right.
Yeah, so White's got two groups split up here, and then he has to move to make sure he's safe. Yeah, it's a very natural development for Black. The flow seems to be favoring Black. Okay, this one.
Okay.
So if Black makes a clean light there, then this move just seems too slow.
Right.
Although White does get some nice moves on the outside as well. With L14. Yeah, this is another game where we see both sides are playing very calm. There's no real big fight going on.
Right. But I feel like that left side area is very large. After this whole sequence.
Yeah, this move seems like a mistake. After cutting, White just decides to give up that one stone. That is not where White loses a couple points here.
Black seems very solid now.
Oh, that's a big move.
Yeah.
Seems like white should have played with Atari at some point.
Making at least a little nervous.
Yeah, like instead of playing here, I think this
Mm.
this move didn't really do much.
Mm.
I mean, presumably both players read out some sequence for Black to live. Uh, but just eyeing this, I'm not sure what the play might be. Like for at the very least, White can connect here. This is very big actually in terms of
Yeah.
territory. And let's say Black has to come back here, and then White can continue playing endgame. But this would have been a good sequence for White to pick up some points. Letting Black play here is a big letdown.
Mhm.
Yeah, and allowing this
Yeah.
this
To
endgame.
my eye, Black's ahead now.
Yeah, my feeling here is that Black is clearly ahead. Still.
Okay, so we have some sort of squeeze connection. Okay,
see.
so
Okay.
White,
No,
yeah, White is.
I might crash here.
Let's say White plays here, then just throw in is a nice move. Yeah, and actually, well, let's play this Atari first. And White is just dead.
Yeah. Wow. I did not think that Aji was still an issue after this wedge. Wow. It's a very abrupt end, but I feel like Black was ahead anyways.
Yeah, that was my feeling as well. Let's.
That peeping connection just strengthened Black enough to make that attack inside.
Wow.
Yeah, Black is ahead at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Even without the shenanigans.
Yeah, so this game overall, I don't think White will be satisfied. There was no real chance to make something happen.
Mm-hmm. I think we're approaching the amount of time that we have remaining, so I think this is a good stopping point for us.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks for letting me kibitz.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in and watching. We'll be back. When is the next game that is being broadcast? When's the next time you guys are going live?
Thursday morning.
Got it. And tune back in on Thursday morning for more coverage of the 2022 US Go Congress and the US Open Masters. It's been a pleasure. See you guys later.